Okay. Aeneas and Achates saw something a little bit surprising. Little bit shocking. A little bit, as line 513 says, a little bit percussing, I guess. What did they see? It was a little surprising. Danielle.
Their friends that they had lost.
Yeah, what are you guys, what are they doing here? And especially when they saw these guys doing what?
Praising or asking for baby Dido.
Going up to Dido. Now Dido at this point, she's moved through the city, and where is she located at the moment? On a throne in the temple of Juno, right? And so she's there, she's giving out Iura and leges, laws and justice and things like this. And these guys now are coming to her to make their case. And so, as Caitlin was saying on Tuesday, Aeneas showing some proper restraint. He's not, ready, shoot, aim kind of guy. He says, hey, let's consider this a little bit. Let's think it through. Let's stay in the cloud a little bit. And did you see Meet the Robinsons?
Yeah.
You remember the bowler hat guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yes.
every time he would get some inanimate object that would come alive to do something, and he would command it to do something, he'd be like, Master, I don't think his plan's very well thought out. Aeneas is not the bowler hat guy. I mean, that's my point. Aeneas is not the bowler hat guy.
It's an awful connection. So. It's just like, he's not a random person from Central movie. He's not that one.
Okay. Anyhow, it does a long lead up, and there wasn't a lot of payoff on that one, but you never know.
It's kind of way it could have connected.
It's like fishing. You got to keep throwing that line out there, and sometimes you.
I don't understand these references.
You understood that one?
Yeah.
Meet the Robinsons? Good. Okay. Postquam introgressi. Line 520. After they entered. Now I'm going to suggest that there's a sunt missing here. Okay? I'm going to suggest that the verb is really introgressi sunt. First of all, you notice that this verb is what kind of a verb?
Introgressi.
Deponent verb. All right. So that means it looks what and translates what?
Passive.
Looks passive, translates active. And then I notice that this introgressi, coming from the last part, which would be like coming from the fourth part of a regular verb, I notice it ends in an I. So what does that I tell you immediately? It tells you a couple things. Plural. It tells you it's plural. It tells you what gender for the subject. Masculine. It tells you it's masculine plural. So there's some masculine plural subject, so a they of some sort. And I can assume introgressi sunt, because I know that perfect passive looking form, which is what deponent is, it looks passive, that a perfect passive looking word would have that last part in the form of sunt. So I can reasonably assume that it's introgressi sunt. So after they, whatever introgredior means, after they entered, and still hanging off that postquam, after coram data copia fandi.
Speaking face to face.
Okay, let's get this. After a copia fandi, after an abundance fandi. What part of speech is fandi? Gerund, right? And they can give you a little note on it. ND is certainly your clue there. It's coming from what verb? This is one of Virgil's more common synonyms for dico. Anybody? It is a verb for speak.
This is a coepi.
Nope. For, fari, fatus. That first conjugation, deponent verb for to speak. Fondi would be what case of a gerund? Gerund only has 4 cases. Right. Which form does which form does a gerund lack? It lacks a nominative. Genitive. after they entered, and after a supply of fondi, a supply of speaking. We're going to talk about what that means. We actually have a note there. After a supply of speaking, data implied est
They gave.
was given.
Was given.
Quorum. After a supply of speaking was given, quorum. Face to face or openly. Okay? Now, we don't, a supply of speaking, that's not an idiom we use. We can't say that in English. So there is another meaning they suggest here in your vocab for copium.
Opportunity.
Opportunity. After an opportunity of speaking was given. You don't just walk up to a queen and say, sup. Well, David could, but other people, no. And you've got to get permission to speak, right? So permission was granted to speak. Yes, sir.
Do you want to do that?
Sure, knock yourself out.
Yeah, I
Alright. Because I didn't study for extra credit.
I bet you could figure out some of these, though. These are just English derivatives. So English words that look like the Latin words and have a similar meaning. So you can list the English words here and then the definition of the English word next to it. I don't need to see any Latin, just English. Yep. So, they entered, Queen granted them an audience, we say. After that, it happened, Maximus Ilioneus. Maximus Ilioneus, his name is Ilioneus. So Maximus is what we needed.
So the greatest.
Big ol'.
Big
Big ol' Ilioneus, right? Maximus is what degree adjective?
Isn't it just comparative?
No, comparative.
It's
Superlative. So literally it's the greatest, the biggest. Now you can, if S doesn't work, and I think that just sounds silly to say the biggest Ilioneus. Well, there's not another Ilioneus. So that sounds odd. You can say very. Very is a helper for superlative degree. I want to jot that down. Very big Ilioneus.
Wait, you said what you said. There is
Very is, can be a helping word for the superlative. Okay? And if I were still teaching in Texas, we probably would just leave it as big ol'. Big ol' Ilioneus. Coapit. Began to, he began from his placido pectore, from his calm heart. And if you wanted to imagine a word, you might add in dicera, maybe he began to speak, or we even can do that in English and say he began, right, and then starts the quotation. And he starts off and he says, O Regina, O Queen, Noam qui contra Jupiter urbem justitiaque dated. You, now let's get this cui. I'm going to start off with the cui. What case is cui?
Nominative.
Cui, dative. How do you translate the dative? To. You to whom Jupiter, and you got to grab the main verb over on the next page. You got to flip back and forth. Jupiter gave. Good. You to whom Jupiter gave, and gave in the sense of gave the opportunity, gave the power, gave the mission. Sometimes we'll just even say it. You to whom Jupiter gave it to Condora, to build a Noam Urbem, a new city. Recognize you here as the founder of this new city. You to whom Jupiter gave it to establish a new city, and to frenare, restrain the gentes superbas, not better, superbas. It's kind of a negative word.
Oh, crap.
The proud, the prideful, the haughty, the arrogant gentes, races, nations, tribes even. Okay? We'll talk about what that means in a minute. You to whom he has given the power to. Okay, what'd you say for frenare? Restrain. All right, frenum, freni, neuter is the word for rein, R-E-I-N. This is what you hold on a horse. Okay, so literally it's to rein in, to pull in. the arrogant tribes or nations with justitia, with justice. Okay. And remember when Juno was addressing Aeolus? How did she address Aeolus when she first started off? All my flattery, right? Same kind of thing. You who can raise the winds and calm them down again, you know, Jupiter's giving you the authority, blah, blah, blah. You kind of suck up, right? Troes te miseri, ventis mare omnia vecti, oramos. Where's your verb? Oramos. Who's the subject? We. We Troes miseri. We miserable Trojans. Now, very often, right, if a verb is first or second person, you don't have another subject in the sentence. If it's first person, who's that? I and we. And the second person is you. And usually that's enough. But sometimes you will identify you students, we Trojans. And so if you do, that other word's just in the nominative. Right? It's kind of like an additional subject. He says, you who all this stuff, blah, 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 we miserable Trojans, oramos te. What do we do? I not pray for you, but pray to you. Basically, we beg you. Oro can mean pray or beg or entreat. I love that word, as long as you know what it means. Entreat is not just a simple asking, okay? But and usually you're entreating somebody who is more powerful, okay? So I would never, right, entreat one of my student helpers. I simply tell my student helpers what to do, right? Because they're student helpers.
And then I defy
Right, yes, I see you back there, student helpers.
Hi.
Yes. Hi, they say in unison. But if it were, I wanted, some extra money for Latin Club, and I wanted to go to Mr. Brannigan for it. Now I would be entreating, okay, probably on my knees, and with much. Oh, you who have been entrusted by the school board of Washington Township to rule over the Panthers of North Central High School with justice. We of the Latin Club entreat you. That's how we would go. Yes.
So, I know it's like they say like the whole like queen sort of thing for
Yeah.
like when inviting her in a sense, but it's like every time someone says something, it's like always that something. Oh, is that like? Does anyone else use that?
I do. Right. Well, it's very formal.
Okay.
Very formal speech, and I think anytime there's big emotion, or again a real formal invocation of somebody, there's going to be sometimes another casual speech where it's not that. Yes.
Is there food in there?
No.
It's tie-dye.
There's tie-dye
Even to
bottles.
Mickey, you know?
Oh, I thought it was like
Anyway.
Okay.
Doritos.
Right. We Trojans, we miserable, poor, wretched Trojans, we having been wecti,
Having been
wecti by the wentis,
carried by the wind.
carried by the winds through omnia maria, through all the seas we are Ramos te. Here's what we pray. Prohibe infundos a navibus ignes. For the love of Jupiter, woman, prohibe the infundos ignes.
Unspeakable.
Something unspeakable. What's prohibit? Keep off. Keep off. Right? Prevent. Prohibit the unspeakable ignes. Fires from our navibus. From our ships. Very first thing is concern for the ships. Now,
Wait, why are the
If-
ships on
Oh, is that
no, he says we don't want anything to happen to them. Don't let anything happen to our ships.
Oh,
for
to
heaven's
the
sakes,
fire.
don't
The
let our
fire,
ships
like-
catch on fire.
Okay.
Well, not like gunfire, but don't let our ships catch on fire.
Literally.
Is that more of like a don't let our ships on fire?
Yeah, don't let our ships catch on fire.
No, I'm like it's different than saying like don't catch our ships on fire and don't let them be caught on fire.
Either way, ships fire bad. Don't let them happen. I mean, it's just what we're saying in any circumstance.
So like his main concern is Are the ships?
But I guess,
Yes.
I do have a question then, so are they asking for her to like protect the ships, or are they
Yes.
asking for her to not attack
Yes.
the ships?
I
Okay.
think it's yes. I think it's all one and the same.
Okay.
And obviously, if you're protecting us, you're not deliberately attacking us, right? I think the one kind of
See, that's
goes
what
with
that's
the
what I
other.
got when I.
But if you're Aeneas listening to this, and you're listening to your guy out here making the first pitch to this foreign power, what would you think of that?
It sounded like the ships had been on fire.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like to me.
Okay,
I don't think that like they weren't like betraying me.
I would feel pretty good about this. His first thought isn't even for food and shelter; it's the mission, really, protect our ships. You know, so I'd be pretty proud, I think, of Ilioneus for that. And then he says, "Parque pio generi." Next command, he says, "Parque pio generi."
Spare.
Spare a
Loyal.
loyal race. We're good people, ma'am.
Man.
Yeah.
We're good.
You know, big old Ilioneus.
Good people.
Big old Ilioneus will say, ma'am, let me tell you. He says, sir and ma'am. He
He's
says,
like,
ma'am,
brother.
you know, spare a loyal race. We're good folk.
Have you seen Arizona, Raising Arizona?
Years ago.
That, that voice that you just did reminded me of Nick Cage from that.
Is that-
Yeah.
Couldn't they just?
And
My heart is so.
propius res aspice nostras, he says. And aspice propius.
And
Us.
see here and look at
Look more closely at res nostras.
Our things.
And our things, our situation.
Is that like look over our things?
Well,
No, look at
we'll
our
get to the sense there in just a second. Part of speech. Prohibe, parque, aspice. Imperatives. Right? Lady, I'm asking three things from you, and it ain't real hard. All right? Don't let any harm come to our ships. Give us a break, because we're good people. And just take a look at the situation here. Okay? I mean, kind of see what's going on here before you make any rash judgments or kick us out of your kingdom or whatever. Get into it and see what's going on. Okay? Makes me think there's a country music song by a country music artist named John Anderson, and it's called "Black Sheep of the Family." His brother is a doctor and his sister is a lawyer, but he is the black sheep of the family. You know, drives a big old semi truck. He says making payments on a 2-room shack. My wife, she waits on tables, and at night she rubs my back. And I tell her what my papa said to my mama when he got off the highball train. I say, woman, wake me up early, be good to my dogs, and teach my children to pray. I mean, 3 things, right? And that's basically what Ilioneus is saying to her. 3 things. There it is.
I'm not
Okay.
getting the connection.
There's no connection whatsoever other than the fact that
things?
it's 3 imperatives.
Yeah, you're
Three
right.
imperatives.
It's just
That's
like Shakespeare, you know, when he does the 3 things, and any musical writer ever.
Well,
I mean, not
But-
to shoot you down there.
well, I'm just saying.
I
you
was
know.
on
Yeah,
Tuesday,
generally,
just like went
you
to
know.
the very end, and that was it. And I was like,
You're going, that was it, there's no more.
Oh wait, if we have time, can I tell the best joke ever?
If there's time, and there probably will be. All right. He says, no nos. Out ferro libicos populare penatis venimus. Out raptas ad litera vertere praedas. He says, well, where's your verb? Where's your main verb in those 2 lines?
Wedding.
Venimus. Now, who's doing the action on venimus?
We.
We. But then what's nos doing? Nos is also
Pharaoh.
we. So he's really emphasizing the we. He says, we non venimus.
We do not come.
We do not come. And there's an out and an out. Got a correlative pair there. Out and out means what?
it's either or.
Either or. Good. We have not come either to blah, blah, blah or to blah, blah, blah. Set your mind at ease. We have not come. Not us, lady. Not us. Emphasizing the notes. We've not come to populare. This word sometimes, to me, it feels like it means the opposite of what it looks like.
Devastate.
It means to devastate.
Like
the blood.
populate means make people.
Right, looks like populate,
Heck no.
and it's really the exact
That makes
opposite. It's,
sense.
it's almost like depopulate.
Well, it kind of makes sense to instead of devastating the people, you're devastating the resources.
That's it, so there wouldn't be any people.
Yeah.
So he says, we have not come to lay waste, to destroy the libicos penates. Libyan household gods. Look how personal he makes it. Okay? Ultimately, yeah, we're going to need some of your resources and stuff, but look, we're not here to take your stuff. We're not here to disrupt your life. Okay? We're not here to conquer you or anything personal. Right? We're not here to destroy the Libyan household gods with Pharaoh.
Fire.
No.
No.
No, sorry.
Pharaoh is metonymy for Gladio.
With sword.
With sword. Because Pharum, chemical symbol Fe, means what? Iron. So Pharum is metonymy. All right, we talk about synecdoche, part of the whole, and then there's metonymy. Metonymy is the related concept, okay? And so and this is very common Latin. Latin will often, in fact, maybe almost more often than actually using the word gladius. Latin will just use Pharum.
So with
Okay.
steel, we could say?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we do that in English.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it, for metonymy, it wouldn't be sword, it would be just like weapons in general though? Because if it was sword, wouldn't that be like a specific piece of the sword would be the iron?
I think-
Well, you could argue that. I don't know that it's that fine a hair. Typically, if you said like point,
Yeah.
that would definitely be synecdoche for sword. Now, to me, it's metonymy, but I see what you're saying too, because it really is the part. It's not, I mean, like the handle is the blade part. So I can see that. Okay. He says, we're not come to do that, nor have we come to wertera, to turn, raptas. Look at it, boys and girls. We've been waiting since first year Latin to get this in an actual text. This isn't made up this time. Pridos. There it is. Now Danielle, I'm suspecting that Danielle, Christian, and Rachel, and maybe Paul have no idea, or David have no idea what the rest of you are talking about.
We went
In first year Latin, prida is listed in the book as meaning loot or booty.
Booty.
And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we've had
Yeah,
fun
right,
with this
right.
word for 4 years, but it's never come up in any real text until now. And here it is. And he says, we've not come to turn aside stolen loot, raptas pridas, to other litera, to other shores, right? We're not here to plunder. That's not what we're after. There is non ea vis animo. There is not such vis, violence or force in our animo, in our mind. And just to put it bluntly, non tanta superbia for those who have been victims. Caleb?
No such victory.
There's no such superbia,
Right.
no such pride or arrogance for those who have been victims. Conquered. We're not making any pretense here. We were the losers in that Trojan War thing. You may have heard of that.
Has she heard of that?
Well, we know she has.
Oh, right. Yes.
Because it's on the doors. But, he says, we've got no right to go demanding anything of anybody. Okay? So we're humble. We're humble here. And she's going to be very generous to us.
Good say.
Questions about the grammar there. Because we got the time, I do want to talk about something else, but I want to make sure we're solid on the grammar. We okay? Yes.
Imperative singular is, I know it's just the E. You can chop off, and you have that long E thing. But like when you do the
Basically drop off the RE from the infinitive.
right, but when you do plural, it's
Basically add on the TE unless it's third conjugation. And then you change the E to an I and add on TE. So pone, put the book down with a command of multiple people, ponite. Christian.
what was that like? Okay, so it was like for, fare, fatus, and then like fonde. What was that called?
Fondi was the genitive gerund.
What does that mean?
Oh, sure, let's talk about it. A gerund is a what?
Not a verbal noun.
It's a verbal noun.
I feel like I've had this.
So, for example, I like reading. I like pie, right? Pie is clearly a noun, functioning as the direct object. Well, reading, read's a verb, but then in that sentence, reading sounds like a noun. So a verbal noun is a gerund.
Okay.
Singular and plural are the same. And there is no nominative gerund, doesn't exist. What Latin does instead, anybody remember?
Takes the, does it just take the
I don't know.
present part then?
Sam?
Takes the singular masculine forms of genitive.
Well, true, but I want to know, what does Latin do for the nominative gerund?
Oh.
It doesn't have one, so it
It
makes
took the
something else
genitive.
serve that function.
Oh, I saw that.
Oh, okay.
Amare. Did you say it? I didn't, okay, didn't. Then the other forms are just these. Okay. Wonderful question. Other questions?
I don't think I've ever had these.
Okay.
Weird.
And to be honest, they don't really probably come up that much.
But like you guys like work together, so that's how you get to go with some stuff.
Yeah, well, they had it back in the second. They got introduced to it in the second.
Oh, yeah. Second year? What else? Really?
Yeah.
A long time.
Those
We
two
didn't work
perfect-
on
I
We've
mean,
been
we
doing
did
gerunds since second year.
subjunctives, and
We
then
know
we did all the
subjunctives in
clauses.
second
I
year.
think I just
What else
completely
did
lost
you
it
talk
after
about?
30 years and a half.
Okay, maybe go ahead and shut that off, please.
Alright,
Thank you.
so I-
Crap.